What's up, guys? My name's Shane Tradinger. I'm here today at a beach that I love to surf at, but as you can see, there's no waves today. So I'm gonna go diving. I'm gonna see what kind of treasure or trash we can find out there. And you guys already know from the title, I've already gone and dived. It's obviously the late morning. I go dive early morning. So I already found something crazy that I had to show you guys. So you're gonna wanna see it. If you guys are new to the channel, go down, hit subscribe, ring the bell. It's the best way to make sure you get notified every single time I post a new video. And if you guys are coming from TikTok, put the hammer emoji. We hammered that beast today, completely destroyed it, got it out of the water, clean the ocean. So I'm stoked. Let's go swim. I just got splashed trying to dry off here. All right, let's go get in the water. I'll show you guys what I found.
So right when we got into the water, I found this fishing line that was leading underneath a rock, and I pulled the rock up to see what was underneath it, what was getting it stuck down there. Oh, it's a fishing weight. Whoa, I never expected that. And then there's a soda can with some piece of coral and some rocks in it. So I poured those out, and then I found this shell. I don't know if Brittany will like that one or not, but I'll hang on to it. And then some fishing line right next to it. So one thing about this beach is that we almost never dive here because of the way the conditions are. So I haven't ever picked up trash here, basically. So this is one of my first times picking up trash here, and you see I just found a hose. You guys know already I got hoses. I have a hose. And then I found this big piece of metal, but there was some other stuff that I had to grab too, and it was so big that I was like, okay, I'm just gonna leave this here and grab that later. Then I found this fishing weight, and you can see there's another fishing weight with a long line on it and a hook that looked like it caught the rock. It was sitting under it so perfectly. And then I followed that fishing line, and there's a big pile of fishing line stuck underneath another rock over here. And luckily all these rocks are like pretty mobile, like I can pick them up and stuff. And you have to imagine that when the huge waves are coming through here, that it's like moving all these rocks around all the time. So who knows what kind of stuff could be stuck under these rocks that I can't even see. So I got this big piece of fishing line. Obviously that's gonna go in the bag. So stuffing it in right there. And then I found a fishing weight and another fishing weight and another shell that's exactly like the other one that I found. And then now finally it's time to grab that big stick, and whoa, would you believe it? Even more fishing weights. So like I was saying, since I haven't been here, there's just a ton of fishing weights sitting here. So it's kind of easy because I can just grab them all, I can see everything, but it's crazy to go down and find like 5 fishing weights. That's like 3 or 4 pounds of weight in one dive. And so I'm quickly getting heavier and heavier with all these weights that I'm picking up. And if you guys are counting how many I have, leave a comment below how many fishing weights I've picked up, because I have no idea at this point. But the bag was getting so heavy that I didn't even need to dive down. I would just stop kicking and I'd start sinking. And so I think that's another hose or something. And then is that a golf bowl? It kind of looks like a golf. Sure enough, that is a golf bowl. So for some reason people like to drive balls out here, and if you're a ball driver, I wish you would stop driving balls out into the ocean. It's kind of annoying. And then another fishing weight stuck under the rock. Luckily the golf ball led me there. And then some piece of fiberglass or something. And then we're still looking around, see what other kind of rubbish or treasure we can find. And look at that, it's a cool shell. So then more fishing weights. I know, guys, it's unbelievable. More and more fishing weights. And then I found this fishing line stuck to the coral. And you can see the problem that starts to happen because this fishing line has been here for so long that it's almost completely embedded into this coral. So I tried really hard to carefully pick it off and find a way to like unweave it out of the coral. But I was getting to a certain point where I was out of breath. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna yank it. And so I yanked it. Luckily, you can tell it just popped the line. It didn't cause too much damage to the coral. I don't think it caused any at all, but you never know. And then there's this other one stuck here, and that coral was already dead just from the fishing line being attached to it for so long. And then I found these glasses, and I thought it was just glasses in the sand, but then it literally had fishing line and fishing weight, like as if there can't be anything in the ocean that does not somehow have fishing line and fishing weight attached to it. It's so crazy. So there's that weight. And then under this rock found this big shell. I must have seen it from a different angle or something before I started rolling. And then what is this thing? Is it like, it looks like a bunch of fabric and it has straps on it. Is this a bag? Like a big bag? Try to see if I can move any of the rocks around it, and it doesn't seem like I'm going to be able to. I don't know what I can. Okay, I'm gonna try to just grab it by the handles and lift it, as if that's not like 300 pounds of sand inside of it. Yeah, so that didn't work and didn't budge at all. So let's put a counter down and we're gonna see how many times we have to dive down to get this duffel bag out of the ocean. So this is the second dive down now. I decided to just go with a shaking it technique, and you guys can't really see what's going on, but basically I'm just shaking the crap out of it. And I found a piece of glass or something, and it made me wonder just a little bit, like, is this a body bag? Like, did somebody want this duffel bag to go missing and never be found again? So I was like, okay, even besides getting the trash out of the ocean, I gotta see if there's like a murder weapon or some human remains in this thing, because you never know what could be buried in the ocean. So I start pulling sand out, and because it's like, I don't know what I can do. Like, I tried shaking it and it was kind of just stirring it up and then it'd fall back down, so I wasn't sure if it was working. So I tried just scooping it, and I feel like my scoops are pretty productive. I feel like I'm moving a lot of sand, and it's like there's just nothing else I can do at this point, because if I pull on it, it'll just rip. So I'm like doing anything I can to try to get this thing out, making sure that I'm not covering my rubbish bag with sand, because that's completely filled with dive weights or fishing weights already. So I don't want to put anything else on top of it. And I tried pulling these straps and it just was not even budging. So then I was like, okay, let me see if I can pull down the side, and then it'll be easier to scoop all the sand out. And you can see I'm starting to get a little bit of movement there, start to get a little bit of sand to fall out. And then I'm like, okay, some more scooping, let's try that. And it's like, you just have to be so thoughtful of like where you're scooping, what direction everything's going in, like where all the sand is going, because you don't want to be scooping and just scooping in a circle and then all the sand ends up in the same spot. So I'm trying to see if there's anything big and heavy down there, or like sharp or whatever, that I need to get out, so I don't hurt myself while I'm scooping. And it's really just scoop, 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 nothing to do besides scoop. So like, and at a certain point I was like, is this ever gonna end? Like, am I ever gonna get through this duffel bag of junk? And then I was kind of feeling like what was down there, and I think I was feeling through the bottom of the duffel bag, and not that it was broken, but just that the material was against whatever was underneath it. So I was like, hey, maybe I should check what's underneath it and see if that's like blocking me from scooping, because it was kind of getting stuck on something. And I sort of just shook it around, just because, you know, this has been there for so long that like stuff is growing on it, and when it starts to grow, it starts to stick. And so part of what could be holding it down is that like there's coral stuff or something growing on the bottom that's like holding it to the bottom and getting it stuck there. But even though there's lots of stuff growing on this, I still don't think that it's like good to leave it in the ocean, especially with all these straps on it. You never know, a turtle could go in this cave and get itself looped into the strap. So now we're finally seeing what's below it. It looked like it landed on top of coral and the coral got stuck to it. So it probably killed that coral when it got stuck to it or whatever. And I still have no idea if this was put here on purpose, if it fell off of a boat, if someone on shore was careless and a wave came up and took it. There's just no way to tell, and it just ended up in this hole in the reef. And so now I'm trying to see if there's anything in this pocket before I shake it around too much, because what I'm really hoping for is that there's some kind of clue as to how this got here, or if there's any treasure to be found, maybe some cash, a wallet, maybe a GoPro if I'm so lucky. But so far nothing. I'm trying to pull on it, it moves just a little bit, and I'm starting to think maybe that's an opportunity. And then I grab this other strap, try to pull on that strap, and that's not quite working, but it is moving the sand a little bit, which is at least helpful. And then I grab this strap and I hear it popping and ripping, so I'm like, okay, that's not an option anymore, because the worst thing would be if I ripped it and then it's in two pieces, and then I got two pieces of trash to pick out of the ocean. So we're back to just the technique of pushing it back and forth, trying to get the sand up into the water, out of the bag, and just see if that can make any progress. And I'm getting out of breath just talking to you guys about it, because we're doing this straight through. We're trying to take no breaks right now, just like how I took no breaks in the ocean. And now it's time, guys. You saw me crack my knuckles. This is the anime sequence when I go sicko mode and fully pull it out. So I'm orienting my feet below me with reference to the force that I'm putting on it. So I'm gonna try to get stirruped up right here with my feet on the reef. And don't worry guys, it's just a big rock, it's not living coral. and I'm pulling on it. Oh my gosh, it's moving. It's going. Okay, I think I almost have it here. I got it out of that cave, and that's like honestly part of the hardest part. So I'm trying to just pull it. I'm using my full force, and so I already ran out of breath. Let's go down one more time and see if I can get it. Try to get around this thing now that I can finally reach in there. Don't have to worry about a sea urchin sticking me. Found a piece of a soda can, gonna have to hang on to that. Maybe I'll leave it down here and grab it later. And I'm just trying to roll this bag over, because once it rolls over, all the sand falls out of the top, and then it's easy mode after that. So I'm grabbing that strap, trying to just shake it around, trying to get some movement here. And finally it rolls over. I think it's done. I think we got it. And it's just still so much sand that I can't even lift it. Had to go up for another breath, came back down. Trying to see what brand this thing is. It's not a brand that I recognize, so maybe it's a cheap one. I kind of expected it to be like Yeti or something like that, but didn't recognize the brand. So finally, guys, I dumped the sand out of it. I pull this thing up to the surface. It's finally over. This saga of terror, this bag that was polluting the ocean for who knows how long. You can see how much stuff is growing out. I try to inspect the inside, at least find a soda can or something that whoever was using this for was keeping in it. Could have been used as a cooler, I guess, but it's not a very good cooler because it's not insulated. So finally, guys, we got this thing out of the ocean, and just have to check every nook and cranny in here to see if there's something in it. Check this little pocket. Please, some cash. Pay me for what I've done today. Please, bag. And so then I'm like, okay, I'll go push the sand around that all fell out just in case whatever was in this bag fell into the sand. And as I'm pushing it around, I'm not really feeling anything, not finding anything, nothing shiny, nothing pokey, nothing inorganic at all. It's just rocks and sticks and maybe a couple shells. And then went back down to the piece of that soda can and realized there's a tire in there, but I'm not going to be able to reach it. So I'm still here with like my 6 pounds of fishing weights, and I'm like, hey, look, Brittany, I found a duffel bag. I found a duffel bag. And then she found something. What is this?
External charger. See how it's expanded? Because the battery has gone balloon mode.
And then this piece of metal, very strange, another golf bowl. And then now it's time for the real beast. You guys thought that that was it? You thought that the duffel bag, excuse me, you thought I'd be defeated by a duffel bag? You thought I was afraid of a little duffel bag? Look at this gargantuan monster. It's so big that my GoPro ran out of juice and I had to borrow Brittany's. So we switched the camera over, and now we have this massive rope that has tied itself to the reef. Can anyone explain to me how a giant rope ties itself to the reef? Like, this just made no sense to me. I thought maybe a boat anchored here, but no boat that needs a rope this big is anchored this shallow. It was only like 10 feet deep. And so I also wonder, like, how did nobody see this? Like, with so many divers going in and out here, you'd think someone would have noticed this and been like, hey, we got to take care of this thing. But, you know, everyone's busy, everyone's on a different mission. But me, when I'm out there, I'm like, let's go find some trash and let's get it out of the ocean. So I see this big thing, and I'm basically out there problem solving underwater, trying to figure out how to untie this thing, how to get it out. And I just have to take a break right now because I'm dying. Okay, we are back. I'm doing underwater yoga on this rope to get it out. It finally slid through that first hole. So now I'm like, okay, do I go through again or what? So I got to go down and see how this thing is tied on, what parts are stuck, what parts can move. And I'm looking at it closer. I'm like kind of ripping at it. It's not really moving. And so it looks like it's got to be fed through again. The other way, it was sort of like looped over and then under. And it really is in an overhand knot. If you guys know what an overhand knot is, like the basic knot that you can tie in a rope, like the easiest knot to tie. So it is literally tied around this thing. Luckily, with not too complicated of a knot because of how much there is and how big it is. Okay, so I can see what I'm doing now. Finally figured it out. It's a little bit easier for me to see it in real life than when I'm looking at the footage. So what I had to do basically was just pull it straight through the loop that is tied. And so you can see it finally slides through right there. Some of the stuff that I'm doing off camera is like getting it angled up so that it slides through nicely. And so then now I'm like repositioning it so that I can make that final slide through. You guys can see it just has to go under this hole one more time under the reef. So it's already gone through this hole once, I believe. And then it got stuck over here, so I'm like lining it up so that I can slide it all the way through. And it would have been cool to have a little bit of help out here with this one, but I knew that I could do it on my own. It just took a little bit of extra time, so I was totally okay out there on this mission on my own, having fun. Honestly, I love doing this. It's so fun to get to do. And then check out the status of this rock that the rope has been tied to. It has been like chewing away at it, going back and forth every wave all day, all night for who knows how many years. It could have been there for 20, 30, 40 years, and it's just been stuck to the reef right here. And so finally it is getting pulled off. I'm unsticking it right there, and it's like about, oh, there it is. So finally it is free. I finally got it, and just look at the rock right here, like just ground down to the bareness, and every day getting brushed past. And while I was pulling it out, I actually noticed this fin that's stuck under a rock, and it is so embedded with the sand and the rocks there that I actually can't get it out. So I tried to work on it pretty hard, but it wasn't moving, and it was really slippery. It was hard to get a grip on it, so I just gave up. Then I found a hair tie, and then look at this rope, and it's got to go all the way in there. It's like 50 yards away. I mean, luckily it's not that far away, but it still is really far to be pulling this thing. It's probably 150, 200 pounds because it's so heavy because it's wet, and it's a dummy thick rope. So I've just lifted up one side of it. I thought I could pull the whole thing, but you guys can't tell. I can't even get to the surface holding the whole thing. It's so heavy. So I had to let go of one side. Now I'm just holding the one end and just pulling it, and it's kind of dragging behind me. Luckily there's no living coral over here. It's just reef and rock, so not really causing an issue to drag it. I mean, it was dragging along this rock anyway for whoever knows how long, so one more drag isn't going to be the worst thing. And then I got to a certain point where I got stuck again, so I couldn't make any more forward progress, so I just dropped it. And then looked back, and I was like, wait, I have an idea. Here's what I'm going to do. So I go back to grab the back end, pick that up, and then I'm basically inchworming it. So I'll grab the back end, take it as far as I can forward. So I'm just holding the back and then swimming forward across the whole thing. And then that minimizes the amount of weight that I have to pull each time, because until it gets past the original start point, like the furthest forward point, I'm not holding the full weight of the rope. So then it starts dragging again, and then I can drag it for a little bit, and then once I get tired out, then I drop it and then switch again. So pretty good technique that I figured out. I'm making my way in. It's just one kick at a time, 1 foot at a time, just moving forward very slowly, but I'm making progress. I mean, luckily it was such a beautiful day out. And then I go down, take a quick break to grab it. Oh, a wave caught me. Let's see if I can try it again, get back over there. Find that little piece of metal sticking out that I noticed. Yep, it's a piece of a soda can. So even pulling this big rope couldn't stop me from taking little breaks to pick up the little pieces of trash. And now I'm back at it, got the rope in my hand. It's kind of hard to see it because I'm not like looking at my hands while they're behind me pulling. So just trust me that I'm pulling a rope right now, and it's really hard. So I'm almost on the inside where I can finally just stand on the ground and pull, and that's gonna make it so much easier. And you can see it's all rock rubble on the shallow part in here. It quickly ends where the sand is, and then this woman was here looking for shells. It's actually a really good shell looking area, and she was so oblivious to me that I almost like had to go through her, and I was just like, I'm sorry, but this rope is way too big. I'm not going around you, so please excuse me. And finally she noticed me. Hi, I got a big rope. Yeah, you don't see it? How about that? So I couldn't really tell what she was saying until I took my hood off, but finally got the rope up. Oh my gosh, what a nightmare of a thing to find. But I guess it's good that I found it and now it's out of the water. So I'm still doing that inchworm technique, pulling one piece of it up at a time. And then I think right here is a good spot to stop. I'm gonna go set the GoPro down and then pick it up myself, and I think you guys can see the rest of it. The visuals speak for themselves. Getting this massive rope up was just a crazy task, but I'm glad I got to do it. I'm glad you guys are here to watch. my ATV tracks, guys. That's where I dragged the rope up all the way to here, just by the trash can, doesn't need to go in it. When the truck comes by to take this trash, they'll see this, they'll take that too. So, and then I put some of the fishing weights here, the fishing line hanging in. If someone sees it, they can grab them, and then the rest of the fishing weights over here. If you're local, you want some fishing weights, I left them right here. You know where this is, so go get them. I am exhausted right now. You guys can see right here the tracks from that big piece of rope that I brought up. It was seriously insane. I think that was the heaviest piece of rope I've ever pulled up. And I don't even know, like as of right now, because I haven't made the videos yet, I don't know which I'm gonna tease on TikTok for this video. I might do both of them. I found 2 beasts, tackled 2 beasts. I had to use 2 GoPros. My first one died, I had to use Brittany's, and it was just crazy how much work we put in the water today. I am so exhausted. I'm like about to pass out on the beach. I can barely even talk right now. I don't know if you guys can tell. Woo! But yeah, so that was epic. If you guys enjoyed this video, smash the like button. I really, really appreciate it. I haven't posted on YouTube in a while. It's been a struggle for me, honestly. I haven't found that many really cool things, and I only want to post when it's epic content, so it'll mean a lot to me. So it'll mean a lot to me if you guys smash that like, share this video with your friends, help spread the word about cleaning the ocean out here, because the support on YouTube is how I can afford to live so that I can keep doing this. So it means a lot to me to have your guys' support. So I think that's it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully it doesn't take me 6 months again. Okay, bye.